Welcome to the Too Old or Pure Gold Movie Podcast. Today we're continuing our review of martial arts movies discussing the 1973 Enter the Dragon. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-host to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? I'm your host, Olen Vanderleeden, representing Gen X. Joining me today is my high-kicking Gen X co-host, Mathew Stockton.
Hi!
Representing the millennials this week, we have a comedian who I think has actually done a gig in the House of Mirrors before. Welcome, Corry.
Hello, it's Will. Hi.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
We also have comedian and host of the Absolutely Obscure Movie Podcast, Josh Fleming, with us today.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, Joshy.
Can we dub my hero into Josh?
No, definitely not.
No. Fix that in post, sorry.
Today's movie is the 1973 martial arts film Enter the Dragon. This is officially the oldest movie we've ever done, but it's important to the genre and definitely a staple of my youth. Even if I didn't see it in the theater, I had it on a lot when I was a kid. So Enter the Dragon stars the legend Bruce Lee and excellent 70s and 80s movie actor John Saxon. Enter the Dragon was directed by Robert Klaus. This was Klaus's first big movie, but he went on to direct a whole slew of amazing films in the genre, including Black Belt Jones and Jim Cotta, both excellent films that we're going to do at one point. The tagline from the movie poster is, "Their deadly mission to crack the forbidden island of Han." IMDb describes the film as a Shaolin martial artist travels to an island fortress to spy on an opium lord who is also a former monk from his temple under the guise of attending a fighting tournament. And now that I've seen it again, I have to admit, this one is actually pretty on the mark. That was a great description. And for those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch Enter the Dragon and summarize the plot.
The movie Enter the Dragon stars the famous martial artist Bruce Lee, who, at the request of British intelligence, infiltrates a martial arts tournament hosted by the infamous one-handed crime boss Han. Lee also has the personal motive to revenge his sister's death. Before Lee can act on his assignment, he is expected to participate in a wonderful, almost stylized or religious fight before his formal send-off by the head of the Shaolin Temple. After the send-off, we see images of Lee's travels to the Han Island destination. Upon arriving at the island, he is welcomed by Mr. Han, but it doesn't take long before Lee's cover is suspected and, should I say, he is dancing to his own drummer. And Mr. Han does not like it. In the subsequent competition fights, Lee is obviously the best, and Mr. Han doesn't like that. The story ends with a long and phenomenally intense fight between Han and Lee, known as the Mirror Room Battle, which is won by Lee. It also meant the end of Han's regime.
Wow, sweet.
He loved it.
Of course.
Do you know, I don't think my dad saw one martial arts film in his whole life till this podcast started, and now he's seen 3, and he's loved them all.
Wow.
I can admit that this is my first martial kung fu movie for sure.
Really?
It's always not something I've avoided on purpose, but I just kind of been like, I'll get to it eventually. So I was actually very excited to do this episode.
It's a really fun genre, and of course, this is the best of the genre. I think we'll talk about that, and it's really interesting. We'll also, I hope, talk about martial arts in this movie versus the John Wicks of today, because I think there's a lot of differences. But tell me what you thought of it. Then this is your first time seeing it.
I mean, the whole time I was like, oh, I am starting with the best movie, but it was so good. I kept having to remind myself that it was so old throughout, because it was that I wasn't expecting the 70s, especially the one I thought was kind of cool for that era was the flashback to the sister and her kicking all those guys' asses. I kind of thought that was ahead of its time. Just a scene of a girl beating down like a whole gang of guys.
Yeah. Will?
I love this movie. This movie, I've actually already seen it multiple times. I've like vividly remember going to the video store and just seeing the cover of this VHS on the shelf. And I was like, I need to see that. I loved Kung Fu movies as a kid, and I just pulled it off the shelf and brought it home. And I think I watched it by myself, and probably a little too inappropriate for like a 7 or 8 year old to watch on his own. I think there's a couple titty drug death scenes throughout, a lot of violence.
I forgot about the titties.
But yeah, I love this. I've watched it multiple times through the years, and then I just did like a quick rewatch this morning, and I'd say it's probably one of, if not the greatest like kung fu movie of all time. I would put it up in that category.
Mr. Stockton?
I don't think this is just a kung flu,
new genre.
Kung flu. It's not just a kung fu flick. I would say that 10 times fast. This is sort of like Asia sort of clapping back to Hollywood in a way, because Bruce Lee didn't fit into the typical stereotype, until this time. Kung fu movies were like sort of cheesy, but this is, I think, the first real one where you have this new archetype of really as philosopher warrior, which was really cool, right? Because it's philosophy more than as much as it is kung fu, right? And I think, Lee, this was released just after his death, wasn't it? And so it becomes sort of like, you're not watching a movie, you're watching the birth of a modern god, right? Like nothing's going to sort of concrete you into culture than having a really great movie released after you're dead.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because this is his first leading role in a Hollywood film, and it's such a success. I mean, this is the movie everybody talks about, and then he died a couple of weeks before this movie was released, which is really unfortunate. Well, I'll give my summary. So, I mean, this is a great movie. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Obviously, martial arts choreography has come a long way. I mean, martial arts movies are quite different, but honestly, very enjoyable. I love the Bond villain aspect of this. I just thought it's so cool. Like, why not have a Bond villain and make it over the top? That was awesome. Pretty cool.
Can I add something? I wanted to say something else.
Yeah, of course.
It's really easy to just jam pack a movie full of like martial arts and fighting scenes, but this movie had like a really good plot and storyline. Like, I mean, the script, I don't know if it's the best in the world, but like just the story that went along with it. It's a drug opium island. There's secret agents. There's like his family tie-in, like his sister. Like, there's a lot of plot points that I think they did like really well, along with the amazing fighting. I thought it was.
I agree. And building off that, my first question, and I'll ask it for you, Will, do you think this was the inspiration for Epstein Island?
Oh, Jesus.
Because human trafficking, opium, it had a little bit of that to it.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little too highly rated for the people that went to Epstein Island. I don't know if they're allowed to watch parental guidance, but perhaps.
Well, I'll tell you, on rewatching, I did not remember all of the human trafficking aspects of this. I have some interesting trivia on those actors as well. And really all of the drug and the opium stuff. I just remember cool tournament fighting movie. And so now I do see that the story was deeper. So I think when I watched this as a kid, I'm like, yeah, cool kung fu.
Same.
And that's all I took in. But totally agree with everything you said, Will. I really think it's a great story, nice setup. Believable, right? Revenge for your sister, taking down this evil overlord on his own island. Cool.
And I think
like
one of the things that helps movies like this stand out too is that all the characters are great. Like, they all have their own little quirks, and they're all really thought out. And I feel like that always makes a movie more memorable.
The good guys are awesome. The bad guys are awesome. Like,
and good variety, right? Big guys, little guys, Shaolin monks and fighters from the U.S. Like, pretty cool. If you guys will permit me, I'm just going to say a few words on Bruce Lee here to ground everybody. So Bruce Lee, 1940 to 1973, died very young. He was born in San Francisco, but he was raised in Hong Kong. I didn't know that he was born in the U.S. Began acting as a child in Cantonese films and earned early fame in Hong Kong cinema. He trained in Wing Chun and then morphed into his own style, which is Jeet Kune Do, blending his skills with his charisma on screen. His first movie, he was actually a baby and it was in a Hong Kong film, so he was an actor from day one. His first U.S. role was on TV as Kato in The Green Hornet. Do you remember that, Matthew?
Love that show.
And then in a movie called Marlowe with James Garner in 1973. And I have to admit, I don't know that one, but I'm interested to see it now. His reputation and his success of films in Hong Kong led to Enter the Dragon. So, I mean, there was a lot of hesitancy to make him a leading man. Even for this movie, there's a lot of talk. A lot of people wanted Saxon to be the lead of this movie. They didn't think Bruce Lee could carry it, but obviously he did. And then tragically died at 32, leaving a legacy in film and martial arts. So this was his first Hollywood film, and it was his last film. And there's, a number of films Bruce Lee films that came out after this, but they're just piecing together old footage.
Wow. How did Bruce Lee die again? Didn't he have like the flu or something?
That's a really good question. And, to this day, I'm going to say nobody really knows. Like, if you do research on it, there's, a lot of different views on what killed him. Some say allergic reaction to medication. Others say exhaustion.
Yeah, I read somewhere once, I'm kind of barely remembering this, but that he had like a very minor illness, like the flu or something, and then he took medication that was bad with another medication or something, and he just went to sleep and never woke up or something like that.
Cerebral edema.
Brain bleed, maybe?
Yeah, a reaction to a painkiller he had taken is what when I researched this.
Well, bummer.
I mean, the other thing that's interesting is that his son died young also. You guys know that, right? Brandon Lee was a martial artist, did some very cool movies, but he died at the age of 28, and that was a prop gun accident on the set of The Crow, which is a pretty cool movie.
Well, and I didn't know this about Bruce Lee, that you were just saying that he died before this one came out, but the fact that same thing with Brandon for The Crow, like his first big major starring role, and then he died before it came out too.
Not that I want to give it credence, but there are people that talk about the Bruce Lee curse, right? But yeah, sad. Okay, so Bruce Lee, notable students. I thought this was interesting. Steve McQueen, James Coburn, Chuck Norris, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So these were all his students, and cool. Saxon as well.
So cool.
Saxon was his student. So yeah.
What was the movie that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did with Bruce Lee? What was that one called?
Was that Fists of Fury?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
I can't remember. Yeah, look it up if you don't mind to look that up. But this is consistently ranked one of the best martial arts movies of all time. Do you guys think it deserves that title?
Yes.
Okay, great. And Matthew, tell me what you think. So, guys, we've been doing kind of a series on martial arts. We've been trying to look at different martial arts movies. We've done Bloodsport and Rumble in the Bronx so far. Matthew, how do you think this rates against those movies?
This one is much better because there's actually depth to this movie, right? Okay. So Bruce Lee is about, he's kind of, it's like, you see the philosophy versus just the fighting, right? It's like, for example, the Hall of Mirrors scene, right? He's in this liminal space illusion, ego, right? And it's Bruce Lee sort of showing that so, hold on, you're gonna have to edit this. I don't know how to answer this question.
I always edit you to make you sound smart. It's not easy.
Don't think, Matthew. Just feel.
Hey, there it is.
Just feel.
It's sort of like Bruce Lee. Like it's almost like Taoism in motion, right? Sort of like control is freedom, right? And like it's the philosophy behind it, which makes it a much deeper movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying to Will, like, I didn't realize lots of those quotes. I always kind of thought lots of those philosophical quotes came from like Bruce Lee interviews. I didn't realize so many of them were in this film.
Well, the one thing I'll say, building off what you said, Matthew, is that I don't feel like he's acting. Like, I think that is Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Where the other movies, these guys are clearly acting. But yeah, he seems to be that really interesting character. So I had the question too, is the martial arts good? I don't know, maybe I should take this question. So Kung Fu is really its own thing. Like, this really is its own style, much different than what I do, on the karate side. And very different from like a John Wick film, right? But the martial arts, there's no doubt the martial arts in this is excellent. What I will say is I was looking at the extras in the background, and if I'm going to be critical, the extras were terrible. You look at the rows and rows of people practicing martial arts, training on that island. Maybe it was just Han students were terrible, but they're just waving their arms. Like, I'm not sure what they're doing out there. It was fun for me to see that.
That's so funny. Only because one of my like things, I was like, wow, all the extras. It looks so. All the white suits. I thought it looks nice on the like aesthetically anyway. So the fact that they're doing terrible martial arts only makes me love it more.
Yeah, no, it's you guys, just for fun, you should go back and you should turn on the initial scenes when he comes walking onto the island and you see hundreds and hundreds of people training, and just watch what they're doing with their arms and you go, what is that?
They're just shooing flies away.
So good. So luckily the tournament fights were pretty cool, and you know, that's what's interesting about it too. Saxon, like all these guys that were fighting were actual martial artists in there. Saxon, the white guy in there, he has a black belt in judo, a black belt in Shotokan, same martial art I do, and he trained under Bruce Lee. So these guys knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Mm-hmm. Like all the fight scenes and the deaths, I guess, or like that scene where they like Han announces to everyone that his bodyguards like weren't good enough or something, and then he just wipes them all out. Like his one guy kills them all. Like cool, so cool.
That's pretty cool. And Mathew, you recognized the evil guy that took all those guards out. That was the guy from Bloodsport as well.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool. So Bruce Lee had a stunt double for this movie. The stunt doubles did all of the cartwheels and backflips and more of the gymnastic stuff. And Jackie Chan was in this movie. He was a stunt.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Pretty cool.
He was in the scene where Bruce Lee like breaks in and like discovers the drugs, and he gets attacked by all the extras or whatever. Jackie Chan. And apparently, little trivia I know about this. Maybe Olen, you had this one loaded already, but Jackie Chan got like hit in the face like pretty hard by Bruce Lee, but he was so like enamored to be working with Bruce Lee that he didn't say anything. He was just like, oh, thank you. Like he was so excited to be involved that he didn't announce that he got injured.
Actually, the reason he got injured is because he missed his mark, or at least that's what he said. He said, it's on me. I missed my mark. I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Go. Oh, I thought you were going to say that was Bruce Lee that said that. It was on him. He missed his mark.
No, well, from what I read, that's what Jackie Chan said, being magnanimous, of course. Yeah, no, it's highly, to do this, it's highly coordinated stuff, and you better hit your mark or you are going to get hit. It happens all the time in these martial arts movies. And tell me, obviously this style is quite different compared to what we see today. I'm always using John Wick as like the martial art combat modern film because it's so good in that. What do you guys think about the difference between what you see here and those kinds of movies?
Well, John Wick's more like practical, right? It's an assassin. He's doing like actual hand-to-hand combat. This one's more like, he's in a tournament. It's a little more, I don't know, traditional, I guess. They're following like a rule set, except for the scenes where Bruce Lee's like actually like fighting the bad guys and like infiltrating the compound and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like John Wick blends a little bit more. There's a little more jujitsu, like judo. I might just be saying bullshit right now. Olen, you can correct me, but this one,
yeah, it's a lot of jujitsu. It's a lot of combat training, some guns. Like there's no guns.
Oh, I did love that line of them like recruiting him and then be like, no guns. It's like, that would have really taken care of this pretty quick, I think. But
yeah, that's sort of like how horror movies get rid of mobile phones at the beginning. In order to like
make it make sense.
Allow the action to let the action happen, they needed to get rid of the guns at the beginning of this one so the action could happen.
Everything should be done set in an airport. You just go through the scanner and like leave the gun here, leave the phone here.
Okay, now do the movie.
Yeah. I do think that's a sign of good filmmaking that they even thought of that. Because another one that made me, again, back in the scene with the girl, the sister flashback scene, there was like when she tripped and fell, there was like a difference in the road. Like, I thought it was cool that they like explained that away, that the ground changed all of a sudden, and not just someone tripping randomly when they are running away. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, Mathew, a Han character in this, does he look like a Chinese Jack Palance to you?
He does, actually.
Yeah, he does. I was totally looking at him.
That's a good insight.
Yeah. Well, one last question before we go to best parts, and this is an architectural one. What kind of person designs a mirror room into their house?
I mean, Han, he's got a vibe for the theatrics. Like he loves.
But it's
what
not.
do you use
It's not
it
a.
for?
But it's not a house. It's a lair, dude.
That's true. But on a day-to-day basis, what is the use of that room? Is it only in case you're attacked?
Kinky sex stuff, I think.
Oh,
It's a
that
sex
makes
layer
sense.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So best parts.
Okay, can I go in?
Yes.
Okay, so opening monastery fight, because this for me is like everything that Bruce Lee is, sort of discipline is beauty, control is freedom, all of that sort of stuff, right? I love that monastery fight. I think Williams versus the cop, so Jim Kelly's swagger, I think in this movie is electric. A black man fighting back in the park. You know, this is 1973. This wasn't just action. This is resistance. And Kung Fu actually became the language of liberation for marginalized people all over the world. So that's really awesome. Han's Lair. Yeah, it's sort of Bond villain spectacle, but it's sort of empire's basement of slavery, narcotics, and illusions of power, right? That's why you have the mirrors, right? It's about illusions of power, sort of in terms of what the filmmakers were trying to say.
There you go.
And the Hall of Mirrors, right? It's the purest symbol of that illusion, and it's really cool. Lee doesn't just break glass; like he's breaking an ideology in that scene, right? He shows that the only way through all these tricks is clarity and flow and trust in self, and that goes back to the heart of what Kung Fu's about, right? And the yell, I love the yell.
Oh, for sure.
Hi!
Well, okay. I had on my best part the facial expressions. Bruce Lee's face after he's just struck somebody.
Oh, so good.
And the way the camera just holds
Yeah.
on it. Like
The faraway look in his eyes, and then just the extra like little neck snap you hear. Those are awesome.
yeah. So that was on my favorite parts. And then one other one to call out from my favorite parts was, again, this Bond villain and the claw hand. Like, I thought the claw hand was so cool. And it seems like kind of a risk to do a movie like this and say we're going to have a Bond villain with a claw for a hand, but it worked. It was so fun.
Mm-hmm. My best parts, I would say the characters. I mean, like we said before, Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee in this movie. He just crushes it. He's just being himself, basically. I loved Roper and, sorry, what was the other guy's name? I forget his name right now. The black Kung Fu Williams. Remember, he has my
O'Hara?
freaking name. I just thought they were all cool. Like they were so sick. And then the bad guy Han is awesome. Like they weren't just gratuitous, martial art, tropes or whatever. Like they all had their parts, and it was awesome. The fight scenes, best part for sure. And then again, like there's the story, like the tie-in with the sister, how he has tried to avenge her death. And she was a badass on her own, she held her own at the beginning. Like,
Yeah, that was great.
like a lot of stuff I think ahead of its time you wouldn't expect to see, like a woman being a strong, like, female character, and like the black man kicking the cop's ass, like Mathew said. So there's just a lot of, I think they just nailed it with all the characters. So
I think there's more good parts than we can get into in a 1 hour podcast. But Josh, anything you wanted to throw in
I
there?
love the nunchuck demonstration scene, and then the guy just picking up the bat and wildly running at him. I thought that's great. One of my favorite parts of the part that I keep thinking about, because I hated the character so much, but the dickhead on the boat who was like shaking the guy with oranges, and then him getting him to go on that boat. I was laughing so hard. Because as soon as they introduced that character, I was like, I can't wait for this guy to get his comeuppance. And I was like, oh, it's immediate. This is great. I was so happy.
Well, and that was, from my list of best parts, the art of fighting without fighting. Like, that was so clever. I loved it.
And I also really loved, another part that I really loved at the start was video of them showing like the henchmen, the big strong henchmen, of them just whacking them with boards and stuff. I thought that was so awesome.
Well, obviously we love this movie. We don't have to, dig for worst parts in every movie, but if there's anything you want to call out, and I had a couple of things on here. First of all, the idea of living on a flotilla, all of those boats tied together. I just looked at that and thought that does not look like a good lifestyle. And the other thing, opium looks disgusting.
You should try it.
Even if I was inclined before, I'm never doing opium now. After I see how brown and bubbly and disgusting it is, and they make it in a vat, I don't like that at all.
Maybe they could take a cue from like Pepsi, where they make it into a nicer color to more appealing or whatever.
Yeah, add some caramel to your opium. Come on.
I don't think I've ever seen a drug addict look at opium and be like, "Ew, what is this?" I think he just puts it in his pipe and smokes it. He's just stoked that he just bought opium.
I would think of how more stoked he'd be if it was caramel
flavor. True, yeah. It was wrapped nicely.
And bubbly. Put a little fizz in it. You know what? I don't think the drug people are putting enough effort into marketing their product.
Worst part, I personally don't think that some people who watch this movie might think this, but it's an hour and 49, so it's a little bit longer. But it didn't feel too long to me. I think that's actually one of the better parts, is that it was a perfect length, I feel like. But it's a little bit longer, so maybe that some people don't.
Well, my dad's comment on this film, he did love it, but he said the fight scene, he said when we get there, he said they did go on, and he said, okay, I've seen this already. Let's go to the next thing. So I guess he agrees with you.
I think,
favorite lines?
I think that, don't you want to hear my worst one?
I do.
Okay, I think the spy subplot, it was kind of scaffolding for the movie, and it's sort of this narrative glue that justifies why Lee has to be there, but it kind of exposes. This is 73, right? So I keep going back to this. I was 3, right? And just think of the world back then. So I think that shows Hollywood's need to wrap Lee's myth inside sort of a Western frame to make it palatable at the time. I think Roper's survival, as well as sort of studio insurance. So I think in 73, Hollywood couldn't let Lee have the full narrative dominance, and Roper survives, right? So I think that shows like the limits of representation in 1973. Like Roper would be fucking dead now, right?
And the trivia supports that comment, because they were really unsure about whether he should be the lead or...
Okay, interesting. Yeah, while I was watching it, I kept on going 73, 73, 73, and trying to get that perspective, right? Mm-hmm. The best lines, boards don't hit back is the best.
Oh, that's what I was saying for mine too. So good.
And don't think, feel, right? I really like that. And I really like when Han says, "We are unique," because that shows like corruption masquerading as difference, right? Mm-hmm. All right, it's like mimicry of authenticity, and then Lee just destroys it. Right, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Back to my flotilla comment. I like the line, "Ghettos are the same all over the world," and
that's such a sad. It's such a sad line, though.
It is a sad line,
right? Yeah.
I loved Williams. Man, you come straight out of a comic book.
That's good. That was good.
And he does. Well, tell you what, why don't I tell you how this movie did?
Please.
So, according to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, well, Box Office Mojo doesn't go this far back, so I had to dig a little deeper, but my internet research tells me that Enter the Dragon was the 13th highest earning movie at the box office in 1973. The Exorcist was the biggest earner this year, and Enter the Dragon was beat by The Sting and American Graffiti. But it was the top martial arts movie in 1973, having beat The Five Fingers of Death and Fists of Fury. Platoon was the Oscar winner this year, and, I can't argue Platoon. Great film. By the numbers, so the budget, what do you guys think the budget was? You guess the budget this time, and I'll tell you what it earned.
It's 73, so, you could get a lot for, $12.
So your guess is $12.
$12.
Okay.
Wow. I'm gonna go $10 million. I'm gonna say
to make this. Okay, Josh, what do you think?
I was thinking around 30.
Okay. It cost $850,000 to make.
No way!
Did I actually win that at $12?
You might have.
You were the closest with 12. I was hoping someone was going to say 13.
I can't believe that. I goof around and I still win these.
Wow. $12.
So it hit in the day 100 million worldwide, 25 million of that in the US. And in total earnings, they say this movie has hit $400 million, which is the equivalent of about $2 billion today.
Wow.
So I didn't check this, but this might be one of the highest earners to budget movies
That's
ever.
crazy.
That would make sense, yeah.
850K to 100 million worldwide.
Like, let me ask you this, Will and
That-
Josh, if I give you $1 million to make a movie and you earn $2 billion, are you happy with your performance?
Yeah, I'd be very happy.
I think that movie, that witch movie with a handheld camera, is probably the highest earner to budget.
Oh, Blair Witch?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I wish somebody could look that up because I don't think you're right. I mean, that's one of them for sure. That's up there. But I think if you plug in 850 and 2 billion, that this tops it. Maybe somebody can check that while we move on.
I will.
So the next part, Rotten Tomatoes, and you guys, like, we know everybody talks about this movie. I think everybody loves this movie. So you guys should be able to get a very tight score on this one. Critics and audience, good luck.
So I'll go first so these guys can
Can prices right you?
yeah. So I think this movie is as bulletproof as Bruce Lee's abs, right? I just think, like, I'm gonna say like 95 each. I don't think like this movie is beyond a movie, and I just can't see it being low by anyone.
Okay, who can get closer?
Okay, I'm gonna say 85% for audience, and then critics. Yeah, it's got to be about the same. Maybe I'll go 80% for critics.
Okay.
so I think I think the audience will be higher. I'm gonna say like 97 for the audience, and I think critics maybe like 88.
Okay, I'm going to tell you your scores first, and then I'll tell you the Rotten Tomato scores. So, Josh, you win with a 6. Woo! Matthew had an 11, and Will had a 14. So nice
We're
work.
all close. Yeah.
So Josh nailed the critics, 88,
Whoa.
88% of critics. But you guys mostly overestimated the audience, 91%.
Oh damn, I underestimated.
So, but yeah, But I was a little bit surprised by that rating. I figured it was going to be like a 99.99 when I looked at it, but it was not.
By the way,
A little bit of trivia.
sorry, before we move
Yeah.
on, I just did quick calculations. So 850,000 in 1973 is $6.1 million in 2025, and 100 million worldwide is what they made in 1973. That's $742 million worldwide in today's money. So a massive profit. Insane.
Yeah, and it's done 4 times that earnings since then.
Crazy.
Okay, little bit of trivia. We talked about Bruce Lee dying 6 days before the premiere. In the Hall of Mirrors scene, 8,000 mirrors were used in that scene.
Wow.
And that was
That's a lot of bad luck. That's a lot of bad luck.
So now take $850,000 and back out 8,000 mirrors. And
Well, mirrors were only 20 cents in 1970.
I see. And Bruce had a piece of iron in his hand so he could break all of those mirrors. So he actually punched and broke all those mirrors in the movie. Crazy. I always wonder, is Bruce Lee really a great fighter? And on the set, one of the extras challenged Bruce Lee to a fight to find out if he was. Bruce won the fight and then sent the extra back to work.
Did he?
I thought you were going to say send the extra to the hospital.
This movie is preserved in the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress.
Very cool.
The movie was filmed entirely without sound. I think that's apparent. So all the dialogue and sound effects were added post-production. This one shocks me. The soundtrack went gold, selling 500,000 copies. Can you guys remember the soundtrack?
I thought it was good for the movie, but I don't think I'd buy an album of it. But
I thought it was pretty cool. There was a lot of cool, like, Hong Kong jazz, like Asian, 70s, especially for like the Williams scenes, like it was, I don't know. I liked some of the music for sure.
Yeah,
And,
some music was great.
Here's something cool. They used real bottles, not Hollywood bottles, and Bruce Lee actually cut his hand and needed 12 stitches when they filmed that scene
Wow.
with the two broken bottles. So cool. Matthew, you were talking about Jim Kelly in this movie. So the success of Jim Kelly in this film basically launched the blaxploitation film genre and led to all of that cool stuff like Black Belt Jones and those kinds of movies.
When I was in bed recovering from my surgery in January, I went into a blaxploitation movie theme for like 2 weeks and just watched all these great. They are fantastic movies.
I know.
Have you guys ever watched blaxploitation movies? They're so good.
They're so good. We'll do some on this podcast for sure. Woker joke. So I'll cover this one because I read that they had trouble casting the prostitute roles with the nude scenes, so they hired real prostitutes.
Wow.
Nice.
Not bad.
Yep. So those were.
I thought they were method acting. They looked a little too real.
They looked quite comfortable in their roles. Yeah. And of course, on Woker joke, I also had cops harassing a guy for being black and calling him a jig. That is, I think that's a little outdated. Mm-hmm. Okay. Reviews. However you guys felt about this movie, I promise you there's...
are we doing Woker joke or not?
I did Woker joke. I just covered it for us. Did you have something to add?
I had something to add.
Oh, my apologies, Matthew. I'm steamrolling you today.
I'm like, Olen had something to say and it damn everyone else. Okay, we have to stop and realize, like, I'm actually passionate about this. This movie was revolutionary for 1973. Mm-hmm. It really was. Like, an Asian lead not in servitude, a black martial artist is powerful and proud, right? The whiteness was decentralized action in the cinema. Right. I think, the fact that they had like real sex workers on it, it is kind of grindhouse sexism in a way, like women as victims or decoration. So that's where it didn't do so well. But the achievement is massive in terms of Bruce Lee and, the Asian and the black characters being central. And this is 73, guys. Mm-hmm. 73. Like, it's unheard of. And just to think that this was like a worldwide hit, right? From London to Rio to Kingston to Toronto, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone just accepted it, right? And it wasn't like the West consuming the East of stereotype. It was like yes, it was Hollywood and they added a few things, but it was just so good. Mm-hmm. Before Enter the Dragon, like Hollywood's quote Oriental characters were either played for exotic color, servitude, or villainy, right?
Like Kato.
Right? And Bruce Lee completely flips that, right?
Yeah.
And he was the first, and I think Bruce Lee did a lot for anti-Asian racism, because you have all these kids that like fall in love with Bruce Lee as a hero, and it was people like him that started taking down this crap, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, Woker joke is important in this section.
I'd give a shout out again to the sister character, making her like a strong female character who kicks ass.
Yeah,
right at the beginning
right.
too.
Right.
Like, I'm sure in 1973, a lot of people were watching this like, "What the hell is this?" But it was cool. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Great points, guys. I'm glad I turned your mic back on, Matthew.
Thank you. I'm going to go over there and punch you.
I'm going to roll into the reviews. Okay. However you guys felt about this movie, I promise you there's others who liked it more or less than you. For this movie, there's a massive 108 10-star reviews out of 399 total reviews. So, Films says Enter the Dragon is the Citizen Kane and Bruce Lee is the Orson Welles of martial art film genre. After all these years, Enter the Dragon stands alone in the genre. Agreed. Stevie Boy says the plot is fun, but what really makes this movie is the incredible martial arts action on display. I admit to not being a huge martial arts movie fan, but this, in my opinion, is not only the best of the genre, but also one of my top 10 favorite films ever. I went to see it on the big screen and left with a huge grin on my face. Calvin 30 says my parents hired movies out every Saturday night. They would always let me choose one. I drove my dad insane with about 6 years where I would always get Bruce Lee movies, and I would see my dad's face contort into frustration when he walked into the room to hear the wah for the 46th time.
Hi-ya! Sorry, I love doing that so much.
And now we hear from people who liked it less. What do you guys think? 399 reviews. How many people would say this is so bad I give it 1 star?
2.
Very little. Like, not many.
Okay.
I'll maybe go a little higher. I'll say like 50.
There's always a hater. And luckily for this movie, there was only one person who had the balls to rate this 1 star
Cool.
out of 399 reviews. So Harry Plinkett's his name. And he says,
Fuck you, Harry.
This movie feels like a porno. A porno has a thin storyline designed to justify all the sex scenes. Likewise, this film has a moronic and nonsensical plot designed as an excuse to shove in fight scenes. I won't even go into the stupidity of this film. I'll just say maybe a person with a gun could kill all these idiots who fight using nothing but their fists. But hey, for some reason, no one in these films ever uses guns, so they have to fight for an eternity.
I mean, he clearly didn't pay
For an
attention.
eternity.
We've already covered that they established why.
I know.
Harry Plinkett
Sorry,
sounds like
Harry.
a guy who complains that the rice is too spicy.
Yeah.
Sounds like a loser.
Harry is a loser. Well, let's go to Siskel and Ebert. So I checked up on Siskel and Ebert to see if they liked this movie. And this is 1973, so they weren't doing their movie reviews yet. So I did grab Ebert's review from the Chicago Sun-Times. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars and praised its action sequences, noting that it was the best of the Kung Fu films and highlighted Bruce Lee's charisma and skill.
Oh, yeah.
But check this out. I couldn't find Siskel's review at the time, so I assumed he didn't do it in the day, but he was not a fan of martial arts films, and he included Enter the Dragon on his list of the 10 worst action movies of all time.
Suck it, Siskel.
So for completeness, I also grabbed the New York Times review from 1973 that says, the picture is expertly made and well meshed. It moves like lightning and brims with color. It's also the most savagely murderous and hand-hacking film, quote unquote, not a gun in it, you will ever see anywhere.
I thought, I should have said this in the best parts, but it was shot incredible. There's a lot of cool shots in it. It's like the mirror scene, like not easy things to do. And this guy, you said it was his first film? Is that what he director? Like that's a feat of its own. You know, he did a great job, I think.
First movie, yeah, and then he went on to film a lot of movies in the genre.
Amazing.
So, remake, does this movie deserve a remake or sequel? So we know we don't get a sequel because he died, but would you guys like to see a remake of this, or should it be left alone?
It's an uphill battle. I feel like you're never gonna make it as good, so it'll always be compared and therefore like automatically lesser than, I feel like.
I think this is like a perfect movie, and usually perfect movies, I'd like them to stay like untouched, but it's so cool. And if they did it the right way, I'd love to see a remake, an Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, if they did it well, it could be really good.
Like
right?
it'd be awesome.
All I could find on this is that they say Spike Lee was trying to resurrect it and do a remake of the movie, but nothing's gotten off the ground yet.
Is that Bruce Lee's son?
His illegitimate son.
Yeah, you can see the
Resemblance.
family resemblance.
Okay, guys, I'm glad we did this. So just to circle back, is this the best of the genre?
Yeah,
It's a hard one to beat.
I mean, yeah, I guess I can't outright say yes because I said it was my first one, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Is it the best one you've seen in the genre, Josh?
Actually, you know what? I have seen Kung Fu Hustle, and I did like that movie a lot. So,
Okay, good. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's a classic for a reason. Everybody talks about it for a reason. It's good, and I really enjoyed rewatching it. I've seen it a number of times, but not for a long time. Great to rewatch it, and great to talk about it with you guys. So let's make it official. Is this movie too old or pure gold?
It's gold. You know why it's gold? Enter the Dragons Enter the Dragon is about sort of illusion and how to stay clear in a hall of mirrors. And if you think of today's world with Instagram and TikTok and AI feeds and all that crap, the world is illusion and illusion and illusion. I think Bruce Lee's lesson for us all is being in water and adapting and flowing and cut through the surface is more relevant than ever. So it's gold for its time and it's meaningful today. So it's like, this is one of the most gold movies we've ever done.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Wow. Strong statement, but I can't disagree with you. This one is awesome, and I'm glad you guys could join us for this. Thanks for doing that. I do recommend go turn it on again and go back and look at some of those scenes of the hundreds and hundreds of people training, and just pick out like some of the guys that are picking their nose and waving at flies. It's pretty
Well,
funny stuff.
I think I do want to rewatch it because like I said, I didn't have a clue that it was released after his death, and I feel like that's going to add a whole another layer to it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really a shame. I mean, what would he have done if he had continued? What kind of movies would we have gotten out of the guy? They would have just ramped up and up and up, right? And Hollywood would have thrown money at him.
He would have been what Jackie Chan is today.
Yeah.
It's
Green Hornet probably would have had another season. That would have been fun.
Yeah, he would have done a comedy with
Williams.
No, with
Will
Eddie
Smith?
with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that would have been good.
I don't know that Bruce Lee had any humor in him. I don't know. He looks pretty serious, but I only know him from film, so it'd be interesting to go back and see if there's any interviews with Bruce from the day.
Yeah.
I always watch the series. I haven't seen his version, but those like I Am documentaries. There's like a Heath Ledger one, and I know they made an I Am Bruce Lee one, and after watching this, I really want to check it out.
There was a Bruce Lee movie that I watched like over 20 years.
Was it his biopic?
ago. It was a biopic.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Let me see if I can find it. It was really good.
Because he marries a white woman, and then his mother-in-law is unhappy that they're having a baby. There's a lot of racism in it. Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, and then there's also, have you guys seen Once Upon a Time in
Love
Hollywood
it.
and the depiction of Bruce Lee there?
As soon as you were talking about the extras here and finding them behind this in the lot or whatever, that's all I thought about.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. Dragon, the Bruce Lee Story,
There you go.
1993. That's a good movie. It's worth watching if you're interested in Bruce Lee. I really enjoyed it. Okay, great one, guys. Thanks for joining.
Fun pod.
See you later, guys.
Thanks. Good to see you guys.
Thanks, guys. Really
See you
appreciate
guys.
it. Have a good day. Bye,
Love
guys.
you guys.